I slammed on the gas and drove straight toward the police car parked ahead. The two officers immediately flew into a rage. But I wasn't afraid at all. I revealed my identity as a police officer and instead scolded them for illegal parking. I did this because, the night before, I had hit and killed someone with my car, so I had to find a way to cover up the crack in my windshield. Even though the two officers were furious because my rank was higher than theirs, they could only apologize to me. I managed to get my windshield replaced. What I didn't expect was that after I returned to the station, they suddenly called an emergency meeting. It was at that moment that I learned the person I had killed was actually a drug dealer wanted by Interpol. I was overwhelmed with regret, but at that point, I could only pretend that I knew nothing. Soon, the police launched an arrest operation. Everyone was extremely tense, but I seemed distracted because I knew very well that the drug dealer was not here at all. When the commander gave the order, everyone rushed into the room immediately. Just as expected, no one was found. As I wandered around the yard, I noticed that the same dog from last night was also there. I was deeply confused. I chased after it at once. After passing through an iron gate, I suddenly realized this was exactly the scene of last night's car accident. The tire marks on the ground were still clearly visible. Just then, a police car suddenly drove up. I forced myself to stay calm, walked over and identified myself, and asked why he was there. It turned out, he had received a report saying that a car accident had happened here last night, and that the driver had put the body in the trunk and fled the scene. I immediately asked who had made the report, but the officer told me the call came from a public phone. At that moment, my colleagues arrived at the scene as well, and learned what had happened here last night. One of them noticed there was a surveillance camera. Instantly, alarm bells went off in my head.